Good afternoon. My name is George Brauchler. That last name is B-R-A-U-C-H-L-E-R. Thank you for coming to this. I have the honor and now the obligation of serving as the first new district attorney for the first new judicial district in over 60 years in Colorado. John F. Kennedy was still alive the last time someone launched a new judicial district. And this opportunity to come together today is a bit unprecedented. Normally, when you see a group like this behind me, law enforcement at every single level of government, local, state, federal, when you see elected representatives from the state, from local, it's usually in response to some great tragedy that has befallen the community. This is not that. This is a great opportunity that this community has embraced. And this is an opportunity, I think, to talk not just to the community, but to some other folks I'll specify as we go through this, about the plans for this new judicial district and the support that this community has for public safety. Now, the 23rd Judicial District, as you know, it was a process that started in the legislature back in 2020, I think, is when it finally became a law. The old judicial district, the 18th, the one I was the DA before, was Arapahoe, Douglas, Elbert, and Lincoln. Arapahoe County is now going to be its own judicial district, and the new 23rd, the one that we're standing in right now, is represented by this graphic right over here. And you can see that Douglas, Elbert, and Lincoln is big. It's not just big in terms of square miles, and there's a lot of them here, but it is big in terms of population. We have a population of just north of about 400,000 Coloradans that call the 23rd home. And we as a community, as represented by all of these good folks behind us here, are committed to a couple big principles and values, and one of them is public safety. Now, we all live here, some longer than others. I grew up here. I grew up in a place called Lakewood, Colorado, a city as old as I am. Yes, 37 years. Here's what we know. Colorado right now has the 8th highest rate of violent crime in America. It has the 4th highest rate of motor vehicle theft, and that's actually an improvement. And combined property and violent crime, we are the 4th worst in the United States of America, and I'm here to tell you that in this judicial district, those numbers end. In this judicial district, we have a different approach, and that is an approach that takes place with not just law enforcement here, but our partners at the federal level, our partners at the state level. We are going to work together to make Douglas, Elbert, and Lincoln counties the safest counties, not just in the state of Colorado, but our goal is more ambitious. It is to be the safest jurisdiction in America by all the metrics that matter. Law enforcement matters here, and that's why it was important to me that when I put out the call to ask for folks from the community to come out, everybody said absolutely they would, and I appreciate that. Some of the principles that we subscribe to here in this judicial district, I think start with, yes, I'm going to quote a political philosopher here. Everybody know John Locke? Let's see a show of hands. There it is. Thank you for knowing that. Are you publicly school educated? Yes. Okay. Anyway, John Locke said that where there is no law, there is no freedom. Because for liberty, liberty means to be free from restraint and violence from others, and we believe that. We've all seen videos of smash and grabs. We've seen videos of apathy in retail stores, apathy sometimes enforced by management of stores when someone goes in to steal. We've seen all sorts of crazy crimes on video. That's just not going to be us in this judicial district. In fact, when this ends, up on our YouTube channel, if that's what you kids call it, there's going to be a video that highlights the difference between us and others. It is a video of a Lone Tree police officer who goes out of his way to chase down a bike thief, I don't want that to sound small or trite because I don't see it that way. My kids live here. I've been here for 29 years, and I fully intend that my kids will want to come back here and raise their kids here. And yes, they should be able to leave their bikes on the sidewalk in front of their house. There's something else. We have seen a trend in law enforcement not here. A trend that finds that it is far more permissive and forgiving of crime and criminals. That is not here either. In fact, part of this press conference is an opportunity to be a public service announcement, if you will. And that public service announcement are to the people who think they're going to come down here and commit crimes. Now, if you want to come down here and make your home here, you want to come down and get an education for your kids, start a business, you want to shop here, you want to be entertained here, we welcome you and we promise you that we will keep you safe while you're down here. But if you come down here with the intent to victimize us or to steal from us, your expectation should be incarceration. And that is the approach that this district attorney's office is going to take to crime. This community supports law enforcement. If you look at the last 2 election cycles, the highest vote getters on the ballot, that includes president and Congress, are all law enforcement officers. The 3 sheriffs you see over my right shoulder, and I was fortunate enough to be that person this time around. This community supports law enforcement. These counties, and you're going to hear from some of these commissioners, they support law enforcement with the resources that we have. If we make a decision about how to pursue crime, it will be because we think it's good policy, not because we don't have the resources to do it. And so my thank you to the commissioners that we have on board to do this. Now, if you do decide to come down here and to commit a crime, I promise you, we will treat you with dignity and respect. We are a fair people, we are a peaceful people, and we are a law-abiding people. We believe in accountability and redemption, but you can't get to redemption until you're held accountable. And that's what this office is going to help do, is to help hold you accountable. I want to offer an opportunity here in this public service announcement environment. If there are folks that think that they want to commit crimes, I want to give you a fair opportunity to avoid this jurisdiction. So if you look over here at this map, I'm going to show you. This is the Judicial District. I've asked the good, smart people in Douglas County to draw up the best route for people to take to avoid the jurisdiction. No offense to our good friends in El Paso County, Michael Allen, wherever you are, I'm sorry. But if you're interested in committing a crime, my advice is stay north of county line or find a way around us, because we are inhospitable to lawbreakers, and that's the message I want to go forward with. We've seen a bunch of things going on in and around the community, even right up the road here. We're going to take a different approach, one that I think worked in the past, and it's going to work better this time around too, especially with the technology that we have and our approach. I wish we could show that damn video. That's pretty awesome. Let me say this before I turn it over to some folks who had the opportunity to say some words as well. I'm going to quote a guy named George. He was our first president, George Washington, and in a speech he gave to some folks that felt like they were at jeopardy for being victimized out in a place called Newport, Rhode Island. It was the Toro Synagogue. He said something that resonates with me, and I want every person living in this jurisdiction to feel this. Everyone shall sit safely under his own vine and fig tree, and there shall be none to make him afraid. I'm going to stick around for questions, but I want to turn it over right now to our great sheriff in Douglas County. His name is Darren Weekly. Thank you. Oh, there you are. You're right behind me.
Good afternoon. Thanks for being here. In the last 2 years that I've been the sheriff of Douglas County, I have implemented a no-nonsense approach to crime fighting and to public safety in general. I empower my staff to do their jobs effectively and safely to protect this community. People are moving to Douglas, Elbert, and Lincoln County because it's a safe place to buy a home. It's a safe place to raise a family. It's a safe place to operate a business. In the new 23rd Judicial District, all of the law enforcement CEOs, all of the elected officials, we work together in a collaborative fashion with keeping our community safe. We understand the value of public safety in the 23rd. When George Brauchler decided to run for this seat, George and I had been friends for many, many years, and I just simply said, how can I help you? Because I knew that the 23rd Judicial District, being a new judicial district with the issues that we've had, that we need a DA that could hit the ground running. George and his assistant district attorney, Darcy Kofel, who's also a good friend, they are assembling an absolute superstar group of prosecutors and investigators that don't just want to manage their caseload. They actually want to prosecute suspects, and that's exactly what we need in this judicial district. And a warning, if you are a criminal or you are somebody who has bad intentions, do not come to the 23rd Judicial District, because the people you see behind me, we will go out of our way to track you down and to hold you accountable. If you run from us, you will go to jail tired and with additional charges. We will do everything that we can to keep our community safe, and we will hold you accountable. I have no doubt whatsoever that the 23rd Judicial District will be that shining star, that representative, not only to the state of Colorado, but for the rest of the country. Thank you.
From Lincoln County, not sure who it's named after. No, I'm kidding, I know. The great Sheriff Tom Nestor. Tom, thank you. Thanks for being here. Are you reading that letter or is he reading it?
I think I am.
George, thanks for everything you've done. I've worked with you in the past, and I'm looking very much forward to working with you in the future here. I think this is a huge opportunity for a new judicial district to send a strong message to the criminals who commit crimes in our areas and to voice what we expect for consequences in the 23rd. Also, I think we need to send a message to our victims of crime in our areas. We support you, and we will fight for your justice. It shouldn't matter if you're in rural Lincoln County, Elbert County, or Douglas County. We expect the same resources and results in every crime. I'm very excited for the future of the 23rd. Again, like the sheriff from Douglas said, they're assembling a star staff. I've met several of them. It's going to be incredible. We got good judges in the 23rd, and I think George has proven that he's a good DA, and this is going to be a good fit for us. I've been with the sheriff's office for 36 years. I've seen crime get handled appropriately, and then I've seen it get very weak. I think we need to go back to the strong side of consequences for crime. We owe it to our citizens, and we owe it to our victims. I'll turn it over to my captain now, who's going to read a letter from the commissioners who unfortunately wasn't able to be here. Captain Michael Yao.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. Great.
The Lincoln County Commissioners apologize for not being able to make it here today, but they had some other arrangements. But they sent this letter in their support and in their absence. This letter is being sent to indicate the support for the Board of Lincoln County Commissioners in the future endeavors of the District Attorney's Office for the 23rd Judicial District. We weren't able to attend the press conference today on December 18th as it coincided with regular business that we must have completed. We appreciate the enthusiasm and the drive that prosecutors in the new 23rd Judicial District have for lawbreakers and pursuing them in Lincoln County. But within the entire 23rd Judicial District, we support all endeavors. We applaud your message to seek incarceration for those who wrong our communities, and fully support your approach to sending a strong message to the criminal population amongst us. We would like to express our gratitude for your desire to have the 23rd Judicial District stand out regarding our county residents. Lincoln County is in full support of your efforts to set the tone regarding criminal justice system reforms that we look forward to implementing. We look forward to the partnership in the coming years. On behalf of the Board of Lincoln County Commissioners.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Thank you. That's 2 of our 3 sheriffs. Elbert County, for those of you that don't know, the state demographer says that will be the fastest growing county in the state of Colorado as a percentage of population between now and 2060. That is a tall order for anyone to tackle, but we just happen to have a great sheriff, Tim Norton, who is the sheriff for Elbert County, who'd like to talk about that too. Oh, so sorry.
Thank you, George. My name's Tim Norton. I'm the sheriff of Elbert County, and I'm here graciously supporting not only George, but the entire 23rd District. Elbert County, we are looking forward to a great partnership. We are looking to put the bad guys in jail. Elbert County has a high rise in fentanyl deals right now, and thefts come along with that, and so does other crime. So with the incarceration theory that the 23rd is having right now and their plan to go ahead, we are looking forward to working hard to make sure we get the word out to the criminals. If you want to come to Elbert County, behave yourself. If not only you have to deal with the Elbert County Sheriff's Office, but you got to deal with everybody behind me. And we will not sit still and let crime happen. We are going to be very strong forward. We are going to put people in jail, and we're going to respect this gentleman and his team to continue on with that investigation and make sure the criminals stay out of the 23rd. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now listen, we have mayors here, we have legislators here, policymakers, lawmakers, but I got to tell you, when it comes to the local law enforcement piece, if you don't have the support of the county, then all these great plans don't really mean anything. And I have been really fortunate, blessed, to have 3 of the most forward-thinking, law enforcement supporting, and let's just come right out and say it, best looking, honestly. I'm not pandering at all to the people that fill our budget, but they really are brilliant and good-looking people. But I think it's important that you hear from them, because this isn't just a one-agency thing. This is across all levels of government, and the people that represent the county here are here to talk about that as well. It's my privilege to introduce a guy I think I've known since ROTC back in, well, I think it was the 1700s. It was something like that. George Teal. Thanks, buddy.
I'm George Teal. I'm Douglas County Commissioner and currently the chairman of the Douglas County Board of County Commissioners. George, thank you for letting everybody know who the attractive people are.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure the average viewer would have figured that out on their own. So I do appreciate that. When the once and future DA representing Douglas County approached the board and said that he wanted to do this today, we asked, well, what do you want to say? You heard what he told us. And the answer was absolutely.
actually, it was a different phrase you can't say on the microphone, but it was like that.
This is a children's show. There might be kids watching. But he's correct, because the enthusiasm we found for this approach to law enforcement is absolutely what the people of Douglas County, and I am certain, and I think we've heard, the people of Elbert and Lincoln counties want as well. This is a place of freedom, but as the quote said, freedom must include safety. And so it was refreshing to hear that from DA Brauchler, what he wanted to do, how he wanted to do it. We pulled in Sheriff Weekly, and once again, the answer was, yep, that's what we're going to do. I just came from speaking at the holiday party at our Sheriff's Department. And I told those deputies, I told the law enforcement officers in that room and all their support personnel, take time this holiday season. Take time with your friends and your family. And then you come back here, you put that uniform back on, you get behind that desk, because we are counting on you. We rely on you. George, we're counting on you. We rely on you. And I'll tell you what, you can count on us.
Boom, right there. Thank you, my man. Thank you. We have two other commissioners, equally good looking. Commissioner Abe Layden. Thank you, buddy.
Good to see you. Well, what an honor. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. We come today with a Christmas present for the people of Douglas County. And when I say we, not only our new Commissioner Kevin Van Winkle and Chairman Teal, but these amazing friends and colleagues that are represented behind me. This is a great group of individuals. But when we say that we fund the police, we don't defund the police in Douglas County, those aren't just words for a press conference. Headed into my second term and in my 7th year as a commissioner, I'm honored to say that this county invests more of its budget on public safety than any other county in the state. We are also deeply focused on the safety of our kids. We have the highest number of school resource officers in the state. We are going to continue to focus forward on being healthy, wealthy, and wise. And I want to thank all of the incredible thought leaders that began 10 years ago or more focused on creating a new judicial district. That was floating around among many attorneys and folks in this community. And in particular, our new commissioner was deeply involved, Kevin Van Winkle at the legislature, in advancing this at the Capitol. So we are very grateful to him. How about a big round of applause for Kevin? And I would really like to congratulate DA-elect George Brauchler. Also a lot of history. Flattery will get you everywhere. I don't know. I think I'm always competing against you for best dressed. But this man is committed to public safety and is committed to our sheriff's office. This is a dream team right here that I am honored to be a part of. We're looking forward to 2025. With that, I'd like to introduce our new commissioner, Kevin Van Winkle.
Awesome. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Well, thank you, Commissioner Layden. Thank you, George. It is just a dream come true to be here today because it was an effort in the legislature that we tried actually for several years. In 2019, we did introduce a bill. It wasn't able to pass, but in 2020, right before the COVID shutdown, we were able to pass the bill through the legislature to create the 23rd Judicial District. As DA Brauchler said, the first since JFK was president in the 1960s. So it is a tremendous honor to be here today, to come full circle and see it come to fruition. A tremendous amount of effort has gone into place by hundreds of people to create this and make it happen. Once the bill passed, that's when the real work really started, and it started all across the state of Colorado. It started in Arapahoe County, Douglas County, Elbert, and Lincoln counties, and it started with our whole judicial department, and as we now see it, coming home to Douglas County here in Castle Rock, Colorado. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for the team effort. We're going to do some great work together, and we're going to keep our community safe because I was born and raised here. My kids were born here, and I'm raising them here, and they do deserve the most safe schools, the most safe streets in the nation. So thank you, and God bless each and every one of you for the service and support you offer to our community.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you, Marnell. Hey, we've got representatives here from City Council, mayors, commissioners. You've seen sheriffs, chiefs of police, ICE, DEA, FBI, ATF. I'm sure there's a lot of CIA. Is someone from the CIA here? Can't say. It's probably George. Now, I can't speak for all of them, but I will. No, I can't speak for all of them. I just want to say thank you to everybody that took time out of your busy day to come out here and be part of this. What I do want to do is to open this up and offer an opportunity for folks to ask some questions. Before I do that, I want to thank Wendy and her team, Wendy, Caroline, everybody that helped pull this thing off and put this together. Thank you so very much for doing this because this doesn't happen all by itself. What questions, if any, do you have for Sheriff Weekly? No, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. What do you think the impact will be being separated from Arapahoe County? Why was that necessary, and what do you see the movement going forward to be?
That's a fair question because I was the DA when this thing finally got cut up in the legislature, and I was supportive of it because, and some people thought, well, is it because the population is just too big to successfully manage? I don't believe that. What I do believe, though, is that demonstrably, through a lot of changes that the public made at the ballot and otherwise, you had really two different communities involved here. And we may abut Arapahoe County, but they are very different jurisdiction. And in part, they have about 85% of the population of Aurora there. This is just a different community with different resources and a different focus. And I think it became necessary to really provide each of these different communities an opportunity to have the district attorney they wanted to represent them. So that's the first thing. This approach that we're going to take, I have a lot of faith in it. I've been reading a bunch of studies, social studies, that say that the length of a sentence is not as important as the certainty of being caught, but the follow-on to that is, and being held accountable. And so I think that to some extent, what you'll see us doing is trying to get to sooner, more predictable consequences. And those consequences, more often than not, when it comes to things like motor vehicle theft and burglary and theft in general, are going to include incarceration. And I should have said something before Sheriff Weekly brought this up, but this is going back to when I was the first the DA. If someone comes here and law enforcement attempts to pull them over and they think they're going to drive away and get away because a lot of other jurisdictions don't pursue, Sheriff, I should have asked you this. What do you guys do?
We catch the bad guys.
We catch the bad guys. You're going to get extra charges and extra time. That's my focus. If you fight with our law enforcement officers, you get this guy in court at the table across from you. I'm going to do everything I can to protect these men and women and to ensure that you get a penalty that represents the danger that you pose to us. My hope is, Kim, that after a period of time, what we're going to see are a lot of criminals self-selecting not to do whatever they're going to do here. I'd like to see that. And then I would like to export this approach, this philosophy, this level of support across all levels of government to the other surrounding communities. I want people north of us to say, what in the hell are they doing down there? Because things are freaking awesome. That's what I want them to do. What else?
Hey, George. Noah from the Denver Gazette.
Illinois guy. The Illinois guy.
So what's been the preparations like with you and your team leading up to this judicial district transitioning, and how is that process going to continue up until the opening in January?
That is a really good question. This is the part that you can't really appreciate until you get into the position that I'm in. This is not an office that could wait for the election to happen for there to be action to take place. And so whether it was the current district attorney, John Kellner, who was weirdly my successor and my predecessor, whether it was his efforts and his great team working on this, the commissioners, every part of county government between IT and HR and all of those other offices to come together, and I'm talking more than a year ago, and start the process of figuring out, hey, when it gets to be January the 14th, there isn't going to be a time where the court's going to say, it's okay, take a month to figure things out. We just start right away as soon as that swearing in happens. The commissioners have been so supportive, the county manager. Every time I have had a question, they've either thought of it in advance or said, great idea, what can we do to support you to get it done? And I don't know if, George, you want to talk about that, but this could have gone so many different directions that were far worse than it is. I feel really blessed to be in this situation, and it's really not me that has gotten us this far. I don't know.
Yeah, early on in the process, we put together a team, and it was really under the direction of the county manager, obviously with the oversight of the commissioners. I give a great deal of credit to our Human Resources Director, Laura Leary, for kind of building that framework, resourcing it properly, starting to ask those questions as we're going along the line of what does a good transition look like? Because you talk about building the organization, that is built one person at a time. And having that focus on the personnel, the people who we are bringing over from the 23rd, bringing over from the 18th Judicial District to fill out the 23rd. And John Kellner deserves a great deal of credit for his team to take it serious, knowing that, I don't know if he carved his team in half, but he did draw a division, knowing that the 18th Judicial was going to be inherently something smaller to reflect the geography and the population. So I give a great deal of credit to our staff because every time it came before the commissioners, we hardly ever had anything to say other than, that sounds great, please make it happen.
Abe, did you want to say something? You were part of that process too, my man.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you, George. I would agree with that. But I like to begin with the end in mind. For those in Colorado who might say, why are we focusing so much on law enforcement and public safety? From a commissioner's standpoint, we are statutorily charged with the health, safety, and welfare of nearly 400,000 people here in Douglas County. When we emphasize public safety, property values go up. When we make a promise to our community that safety comes first, businesses want to locate here. I'm really thankful that Mayor Josh Rivero is here from Parker. We just located a $20 billion aerospace company called Safran to Parker in Douglas County. They would not do that if they thought we didn't prioritize public safety. They're building their investments and their friends and family that'll be working and living nearby. So that is our focus. And you know, this last year we also were able to announce that we functionally ended homelessness, which sounds like hyperbole, but we have 0 encampments, 0 panhandling, only 6 unsheltered homeless, and functional 0 for veteran homeless. Again, I think that emphasizes our priorities here, that we care for those that have served in the greatest way possible. And by doing that, I think we attract the greatest citizens, families, and businesses to our community. Thanks, George.
Sir.
George, what's going to be your cooperation with the new administration, President Trump's administration, when it comes to the illegals, and perhaps rounding them up in Douglas County or Elbert County?
Pass. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm glad you asked that question. I mean, that is an issue that has plagued the metro area and really parts of the country now for some time, and there doesn't really seem to be a good end in sight that we can all point to. I know what the president has said that he wants to do. Speaking for just this guy and ICE, no, I'm kidding. I'm not really speaking for ICE. I just said that. I know we have someone here. Just speaking for this guy, let me say this. Local law enforcement, the district attorney, I am not an arm of the federal government. I am not a deputy of the federal government. Nobody elected me to enforce federal law at any level, including immigration law, and I don't intend to allow myself to be sucked into that role. However, in keeping this community safe, if there are federal partners of ours that we can work with, and we've been reaching out to them starting this process already, if we can do things to rid ourselves of the criminal element, and I don't care where they come from, I don't care if they're a citizen or non-citizen, you're going to get my attention and my support. I think the other thing that people ought to know is, this is now just George. This is just George saying, listen, if you are here and you are undocumented, the law enforcement guy's best advice is get documented. If it's not going to be to follow that law, my next best advice is be on your bestest behavior. Do not put yourself in a position to meet these folks behind us because you violated yet another law. But if you do decide to do that, don't look to me to save you from any immigration consequences of your criminal conduct. I will not treat people here differently based on their country of origin or their citizenship status. Not going to do it. We are about the equal application of the law. We are about the rule of law. And so while I will resist any attempt to federalize our mission and what we're doing, there are going to be things where we can benefit from mutual cooperation. And I think that's why you see some of our federal partners here is whether it's immigration, drugs, gangs, human trafficking, fill in the blank, we're all going to work together to keep this community safe. Sir.
Yeah, hi. Ellis Arnold with Colorado Community Media and the Douglas County News Press. Thanks.
Good to see you in person, by the way.
Yeah. Been a lot of time on the phone.
Yeah.
But this is actually a question for Commissioner Van Winkle, as well as if we have any other legislators here. But I wanted to talk about any role that population might have played in splitting this judicial district up. Obviously, there's a political split between Arapahoe and Douglas and the rest of the counties, as DA-elect Brauchler alluded to. But I wanted to speak to, like, in the legislature, were you guys motivated by, high staffing needs, budgetary needs, high caseload that comes along with, the 18th getting so large in terms of population?
Well, it is true the 18th Judicial District is where much of the growth in the Denver metro area was occurring. And it still is today. It was over 1 million people in the Judicial District. It was the largest judicial district by large margin compared to all the others in the state. So that did play some sort of role, but really for me, it was about trying to bring government home to the people, local government closer to the people, allow the people of Douglas County, Elbert County, and Lincoln County to elect someone that reflects them and their communities, and allow Arapahoe County to do the exact same thing. So it was more motivated about that. It was more motivated about, again, Douglas County is no longer the stepchild of Arapahoe County, and we can manage ourselves with good governance and great people.
Thank you.
What else? Any other questions?
DA Brauchler, can you give us some examples of? Can you give us some examples of how you're specifically change your policies within the DA's office to bring harsher prosecutions? Are you thinking no plea deals only with jail time, no summons, more bookings? What are you looking at?
Yeah, that's a fair question. It's hard to say zero tolerance to any specific class of charge or thing, because one, I think it robs me and these other great prosecutors we have working for us of the discretion necessary to build in room to take account of things that are unanticipated or incredibly mitigating. So it'll never be like if this, then this kind of an outcome. But I will tell you, when it comes to property crime and when it comes to theft, our legislature, not the people here, have done a really good job of making it difficult to cut down on retail theft. I'll give you an example. They have taken theft of $300 or less and made it a petty offense. A petty offense that has a presumptive personal recognizance bond attached to it. Well, the end result is, when you are in an environment where you have limited law enforcement resources, is you're stroking tickets. For folks that don't have something else going on, like a want or a warrant or something, you're stroking tickets for them. I'm in discussions right now with our folks in law enforcement, many of them behind me, and this will take the cooperation to some extent too of a great bench, and if any of the judges are listening, also fantastically brilliant and good looking. Best in the state of Colorado. The idea that every thief goes to jail. Every thief goes to jail. That's the message that this community wants. It's the message that they should hear. And I guess with all your all's help, this message will get out to folks who may not appreciate that there are borders in between stores. And this border matters. The border of the 23rd is the place you cross to go steal, where you stick around with us for a little bit longer. So my approach is, with the young prosecutors that we have and the ones that are less young, is we're going to emphasize protecting people's homes, their businesses, and their property without ever taking our eye off the ball for violent crime. That is one thing right there. And again, I will overemphasize this at every opportunity. If you attack our law enforcement or you try to run from accountability here, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you spend an extra long period of time in incarceration. You do wrong, you get caught, own it. Move through the system, and you will get treated with dignity and respect. You do something else, my response is different. What else? Anything else? Kevin wanted to talk some more. No, I'm Kevin. Kevin said to wrap up. That's all I got. By the way, all these people are still here. I don't know if they have to run away. Please reach out and have questions for them. As you know from the last time I did this, I pride myself on transparency. All these folks do. As things come up, things you want to talk about, please just reach out to me and we'll get to you. I appreciate all your time and effort in coming here and doing this. And you guys, I thank you guys. It's going to be a great opportunity here for us to do some great things. Thank you very much.